Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
But there will be no violence allowed in this court. Seats. I know Deputy Lubinsky is always diligent in this regard, but I'm going to make sure that everyone understands. I have no idea what the verdict is going to be in this case. Zero, none whatsoever. However, some of you may be happy, some of you may not be happy. Do not, under any circumstances, express your displeasure with anything that's gone on in this during the course of this trial or with the verdict when it is rendered. If you got to think about things and say things, you can do that on social media or any other way you wish, but there will be no violence allowed in this courtroom. There will be no violence allowed in this courthouse. There will be no confrontation, no loud, obnoxious behavior. You maintain your civility, ladies and gentlemen, at all times. Remember, we are all human beings. We all must live with one another, and that is the way you're going to behave in this courtroom and in this courthouse. All right, any reason why we can't bring the jury back into this room right now?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Let's bring them in, please. Yes. Okay.
All rise, jury entering.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Go ahead and take your seats. I am given to understand, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that you have reached a verdict. Is that so? All right. Will the foreperson please hand the verdict form to one of our deputies? Deputy, somebody. Mike, would you go get that for me, please? Would you publish the verdict, please?
In the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit, Criminal Division, in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, case number 21 CF 002938 A and B, Division W, State of Florida versus Travis Rudolph. Defendant, verdict. We, the jury, find as follows. As to count 1, we find the defendant not guilty. As to count 2, we find the defendant not guilty. As to count 3, we find the defendant not guilty. As to count 4, we find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, the 7th day of June, 2023, in West Palm Beach, County, Florida.
Would either side like to have, would either side like to have the jury polled? All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I, on behalf of everyone who is a participant in this trial, would like to thank you for your time and your consideration. I also wish to advise you of the special privileges enjoyed by jurors. In the absence of a court order, no juror can be required to talk about the discussion that occurred in the jury room. Our judicial system relies on juries for consideration of difficult cases. We recognize that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair so long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. The lawyers and their representatives are not permitted to initiate Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Jurors, based on those responses to those questionnaires over time.
A Florida woman is facing manslaughter and assault charges after a very disturbing shooting that's leading to new questions about the state's Stand Your Ground law. Ajike Owens is the woman you're seeing on your screen right now, was shot and killed allegedly by a neighbor through an apartment door in front of one of her 4 children. Mark Strausman reports it took 4 days for charges to be filed in this case.
A neighborhood feud ended in tragedy when Ajike Owens was shot and killed in front of her son Friday in Ocala, Florida. The 35-year-old was struck in the upper chest by a bullet shot through the front door from a gun allegedly belonging to 58-year-old Susan Lorincz.
I wish our shooter would have called us instead of taking actions into her own hands.
But on Friday night, after Owens' children were playing outside and approached Lorincz about an iPad they left behind, law enforcement says Lorincz yelled at the kids and threw a roller skate at them, leading Owens to confront Lorincz at her door. Police say Lorincz pulled the trigger, shooting and killing the mother of 4. She claimed self-defense under Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which gained national attention and spread to other states after the killing of Trayvon Martin more than a decade ago. The law authorizes the use of deadly force for home protection if someone believes it's necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself.
So we want to ensure that we get the facts right, especially in a case to this level.
Police opened up an investigation, but waited 4 days to charge the shooter. The delay in arrest sparking protests throughout the community. Attorneys for the victim's family issued a statement following Tuesday's arrest, saying they're relieved, but they are no less concerned that accountability has taken this long because archaic laws like Stand Your Ground exist.
She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone. What I'm asking is for justice. Justice for my daughter.
I'm Mark Strausman.
Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Oh, what's up, family? Welcome to an exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. As you saw those promos, guys, I want to take a time to acknowledge, number one, you can go to Amazon Kindle right now and order The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby, The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. It's a good read, especially in recent developments. I need you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button as well. I also need you to donate to the Cash App or PayPal if you could, since this channel is not monetized. We welcome you all. As you also saw, and shout out to my brother Darius from Atlanta. You can also order some Nani's Creole blends. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nani's goes great with every dish, ladies and gentlemen. I want to point out because someone was commenting on the videos that I'm sharing. Phila, wait till I'm finished so I can explain the shit we're going to be talking about. People comment before they have a chance to even understand why I'm bringing this up. It's important that I'm bringing this up to you about the stand your ground law. So let me explain why I'm comparing and contrasting really these two and how they are discriminately applied. So without further ado, let's bring in our brother, the author of The Man Crisis and the Woman Crisis, Brother Sean James. Sean, welcome.
How are you, Gavin?
I'm doing fine, bro. How you doing?
I'm good.
All right. I'm doing great. So why don't you do a plug-in right quick?
All right. My latest book, John Haynes, 1987, is now available in paperback and digital format. And you can get a copy of John Haynes, 1987, at your favorite online bookseller in paperback and digital format.
All right. And just curious, I know you don't have the answer. Do you know what your live stream is going to be about? Sean does a live stream every Friday night around 11 o'clock Eastern time. And I was just curious as an idea.
I think I have a live stream that one of my viewers requested, and they wanted me to talk about the decline of American media, which in television, movies, and music. And that'll be the topic of tomorrow night's live stream. We're going to be talking about the decline of American media and the sad state of affairs of American media.
Well, that's a true story. By the way, family, for those that are interested in the Louisiana area, I got to do another promo for this. We will be having the pre-Father's Day Laugh Your Butt Off coming up not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, which is the Saturday before Father's Day. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. If you're in the New Orleans area, in Louisiana, you want to start passing through to New Orleans and you want a place to have a good time, then you need to go ahead and get your tickets now on Eventbrite. That's right here. So I have to throw that promo out. Oh, that's not it. This is it here. Oh, marvelous. Wrong link. Hold on. That's it. We got Nature Boy. We got Reggie Raw, Jeff Vance, Rough and Jokes, and hosted by yours truly, G Rich. Why don't y'all come on out? It's going to be a great one. Sean, you should fly out from New York to New Orleans, get away from all the craziness that Eric Adams is pushing out in New York. Just before we begin, Sean, because I don't know if you saw my live stream Tuesday where we were talking about what the mayors in Chicago and New Orleans are doing. What is the vibe like in New York? I'm just interested with the what he declared that they were trying to do, which is put private illegal immigrants into
People are really pushing back against that. People over here were not with that because it's really a major violation of people's rights to personal and private property. And it's something many landlords and business people really don't want because you're putting people's at a liability risk because that's related to their liability. Because if you have these individuals in people's property, there's a chance that they may do harm to the individuals. Because again, these people have not been vetted as related to their background. They have not been vetted for disease. And people in New York aren't with this. They're not really supporting this. And it makes them look at this mayor and see him as truly incompetent. When they look at this whole situation, they just look at it and go, this just shows how out of touch this mayor is and how desperate he is. He's looking to get brownie points and virtue signal to the Democratic Party, but it's not really working out. And the whole thing is making unsafe conditions here as related to people's safety. Because if you're talking about housing people like that, again, it's a liability issue. Then we have a 29-day rule that if somebody stays there, you can't get them out. So a lot of people are pushing back on this and they're not with it at all.
Right. Now, thank you for that, Sean. Yeah, a lot of people are pushing back. Honestly, people even pushing back the mayor in Chicago. I saw Brandon Johnson. They're upset because they voted for him, but you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
So now, to explain and get to our topic today, Sean, we're talking about Travis Rudolph and Susan Lorenz. Now, Travis Rudolph was the brother that was just acquitted. I showed the video. He was acquitted on 4 counts, including one was a first-degree murder charge in a shooting of several individuals who came to his home at the direction of a Jezebel who Dominique Jones, I believe, Travis Rudolph shot in self-defense because she was upset he was cheating on her even though she was married. And when you saw her testify, and Sean, I think I'm sure you have followed this case. She showed no remorse. She actually tried to play herself as the victim. Some people have asked why she is not prosecuted. The very short answer to that is she worked out a plea deal. That's what I believe, because to testify under oath as to what happened, her attorneys, if she had one, and I would be highly questioned if she didn't have attorneys, work out some type of transactional immunity deal for her testimony. You see, she was what we call in law the prosecutor's chief witness, or when they present their case in chief, that means their main point of evidence. She is the main witness to the shooting. But the thing is, she was actually the perpetrator because she sent the text messages to her brother to show up with his posse at this man's residence. They showed up multiple times from looking at the body camera footage, the Ring doorbell footage, excuse me, and assaulted him. This all came out at the trial. Now, I'm going to play for you something because when we talk about stand your ground, if you know anything, Travis Rudolph argued stand your ground. He argued stand your ground, but what happened was this. This was a year ago. All right? I want y'all to listen to this. It's not a very long clip. So this is what it is.
We're following breaking news. A Palm Beach County judge has ruled Travis Rudolph cannot use a stand your ground defense in his first-degree murder trial. The former football star accused of killing a man in Lake Park last spring. Rudolph told police he felt threatened following an argument when his then-girlfriend's brother came to their home. Rudolph faces life in prison if convicted of murder.
Okay. Now, you saw that. Okay, so here is the difference when we compare it recently to Susan Lorentz's argument for stand your ground. Now watch.
Of the jail where the sheriff now has that suspect locked up behind bars. He says that his office was seeing hundreds of calls and emails in relation to this case, people demanding that Susan Lorenz be arrested. But he says despite the fact that it took this long, his investigators did nothing wrong in waiting before they made their case. Marion County Sheriff Billy Wood says he wishes an arrest could have been made faster to put Susan Lorenz behind bars.
And, you know, for me, yeah, the arrest, I'll go ahead, I'll say it. I'm glad the arrest was made because an individual like this, it was wrong. It was not justified in any shape, way, or form. She killed Miss Owens through that door for absolutely no reason.
The sheriff citing the controversial stand your ground law and her insistence that she was defending herself. But the sheriff says this was a clear-cut case and points out the history between the shooter and A.J. Owens is lengthy.
Yes, we've responded there on numerous occasions. Did those incidents rise to the level of a criminal act? For the reports in which I read, none of them have. But has the woman be a pain in the children? Absolutely. She was. And that's why justice was served, and that's why justice needs to be served in this case.
And race is the reason why people marched on the streets of Ocala Tuesday. Protesters telling the state attorney inside the courthouse if the race of the victim and suspect were reversed, the arrest would have come faster. We wanted to know if in future cases where the shooter claims self-defense, would this type of waiting period be what the public should expect? But if he claims self-defense or stand your ground, would that then trigger your detectives and your office to delay an arrest?
Yes, it would. It would. It would delay it. This mother was doing what a mother should do. She loved her children. She cared for her children. She was what we call the mama bear. The truth is, our shooter harassed the children. That's what everything we have indicates.
And back out here live, guys, the sheriff said that when Susan Lorenz cited the stand your ground law, that's the reason why his investigators had to take a closer look to make sure that everything was done right, including interviewing the children, which they called in specialists to do so.
Now, do you see why I am comparing and contrasting? You see why I have that filler? That's why I put this up here. Travis Rudolph did not get that benefit of the doubt because he was arrested immediately by an incompetent detective who even, if you watch the trial, and I was watching parts of it, but I did see some of the closing arguments. By the way, there was a black female prosecutor who was going against him in that case. But if you saw the trial, his attorneys even pointed out how the detective in her testimony didn't even bother to look for the other gun. The man said he saw two men pointing guns at him. And it doesn't matter. And let me say this, with self-defense, many people think self-defense just got to be at your home. It does not. Let me explain the stand your ground law. Now, it's different as it applied to, like, say, for instance, Louisiana, Florida. Sean, you know, states have different laws. They run things differently in terms of self-defense. Even in New York, if I'm not mistaken, there has to be a duty to retreat before you use lethal force. Louisiana, under our stand your ground statute. Let me explain what that means. Every state practically has a self-defense statute. If someone is breaking in your home, there's something called the castle doctrine that comes from Old England, where a man's home is his castle, right? That's the old saying. Am I right, Sean?
Yeah.
So someone breaking into your home in the middle of the night, you don't necessarily know if they're armed or not. Typically, generally speaking, you would have the right, absolutely, to use deadly force if it's reasonable. And you have reasonable, what it says here, if you reasonably believe you're in imminent danger, this is Louisiana statute, okay? When committed in the self-defense by one who reasonably believes he is in imminent danger of losing his life or receiving great bodily harm, and that killing is necessary to save himself from that danger. If it's also committed for the purposes of preventing a violent or forcible felony involving danger to life or of great bodily harm by one who reasonably believes that such an offense is about to be committed and that such an action is necessary for its prevention. The circumstances must be sufficient to excite the fear of a reasonable person that there would be serious danger to his own life or person if he attempted to prevent the felony without the killing. So what this means is if there is a robbery, if there's a burglary coming into your house, and a burglar, certainly if a burglar is armed, you don't know that, but if you believe, you see, it's the word is reasonably believes. Do I have, Sean, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody, do you have reasonable, is it reasonable, Sean, if you hear your window being broken into, and it's 12 o'clock, it's 12:30 in the middle of the night, you're home alone, do you think it's reasonable I pick up my gun, go see what it is, and if I see an individual coming in that I can shoot them?
Yes, it is reasonable.
Why?
Because you believe that your life is in danger.
Correct. Now, it also can apply even if it's in a dwelling of a place of business. So in my law office, if there was someone trying to break in, you could use that if they're trying to prevent a robbery or burglary. So it's the same thing if you had a bank robbery and a security guard were to shoot that robber. Or it can just be a place where it doesn't even have to be your home. It can be any place. And this is where stand your ground gets tricky. But if it's in your motor vehicle, if it's in a dwelling, a place of business, you can do so. And sometimes even on the street, you can also use it if you're trying to defend someone's life. If you saw a woman being raped, where if that person attacked could have justifiably used such means themselves, and it was reasonably believed that such intervention was necessary to protect. Now, the stand your ground law in Florida, I'm just going to read the statute here. And by the way, this does not create an attorney-client relationship. I'm just reading the laws as I know as an attorney. I'm not your attorney. I'm just a damn good one. Home protection, use or threatened use of deadly force, presumption of fear or death or great bodily harm. A person who is in a dwelling or residence in which the person has a right to be has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his or her ground or use or threaten to use non-deadly force against another when and to the extent that the person reasonably believes that such conduct is necessary to defend himself or herself or against the other's imminent use of unlawful force or deadly force if he or she reasonably believes that using or threatening to use such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to him or herself or another, as to prevent the imminent commission of a forcible felony. A person is presumed to have held a reasonable fear of imminent peril of death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another when using or threatening to use defensive force that is intended to or likely to cause death as great bodily harm to another if the person against whom the defensive force was used or threatened was in the process of unlawfully forcefully entering or had unlawfully and forcibly entered a dwelling, residence, or occupied vehicle if that person had removed or was attempting to remove another against that person's will. So this is a trespass. All right? And that person who uses or threatens to use defensive force knew or had reason to believe that an unlawful and unenforceable entry or unlawful enforceable act was occurring or had occurred. So, Sean, if we go back to what happened to Travis Rudolph, you had followed this case, right?
Yes, I have.
So, from looking at the facts and circumstances, and the jury deliberated, I believe, for 4 hours, your opinion, and I think you believe this, is that they got it right.
Yes, they did.
Of this statute. So the reason being was he was standing his ground because his home was being invaded by fucking thugs and hoodlums who he did not invite over in the middle of the night with his brother and his mother in his house. He was protecting them as much as he was protecting himself. His ex committed several crimes. She even admitted on the witness stand she destroyed text messages. She deleted them, which could be seen as obstruction of justice because those text messages were incriminating to her. She called her brothers over to shoot up the house. He said, shoot them up. Shoot up his shit, was the exact words. That's violence. It doesn't matter if he didn't know, Travis knew she wrote that. When they came over and they banged on his door and he opens up and he's greeted with a sucker punch, once you go violent, it doesn't stop. And there was no cooling off period. But that's the difference with staying your ground for this black man and this white woman, this white hoe, who cowardly shot a woman. Now, yes, all of this stuff is alleged. She's innocent until proven guilty. She may have mental issues. I don't know. But she shot through the door. And from what we know, the preliminary stuff is that she has a history with this one, with AJ Owens. She actually, according to the sheriffs, she threw a roller skate at one of the kids that hit her toe. She also took an iPad. All this is alleged. And when the kids went to the house to get the iPad back, she allegedly swung an umbrella at them. And then finally, when the mother went over, as you heard what the sheriff said, like any mother would, to confront her, she knocked on the door and she shot through it. And I'm going to play a video for you all because this came up earlier. But Sean, I want you to go in and talk about this Travis Rudolph and this Susan Lorincz, what the difference is. Now, I spoke legally, but I want your philosophical opinion about, if you could, what happened with Travis Rudolph, why this jury got it right. And
Well, the jury got it right because the jury understood the law as related to stand your ground. Even though the courts were trying to railroad Travis Rudolph, they understood that this interpretation of the law would restrict their freedoms of the stand your ground law. Because in the case of Travis Rudolph, he was legally standing his ground. These were trespassers who were sent to his home by his girlfriend, who was upset at him over whatever dispute she had with him. And she decided to send these individuals to participate in a felony on the grounds of his home. They were, as related to the text messages, sent deliberately with malice of forethought to his home. And Travis Rudolph had every right to defend himself from individuals who were coming to his home with loaded firearms, looking to shoot up his home and do physical bodily harm to him and his residents. And this was shown in doorbell cam video. So Travis Rudolph did not commit any crime. He did what every other American citizen would do in defending their home. And this whole case basically shows, again, a clear racial double standard, because the prosecutors and the police here went to arrest Travis Rudolph for doing something anybody would do as related to their home. However, in the other part of Florida, this white female they wanted to try to give her a pass for the murder of that mother. And that shows us again a clear legal double standard, because again, the stand your ground law is supposed to protect people from terrorists like what Travis Rudolph ran into, not be used as an excuse for murder. Because when I look at the case of that white female in Florida, she basically was agitating this woman for over 2 years. And what she did with the iPad was looking to go out here and use that as bait to bring the woman over to her home. And again, this was, I believe, to possibly be a motive for murder, not manslaughter, because the ultimate goal was to get the woman to come to her door, because she knew that the woman was emotional in the middle of a feud. And because there was nobody there to tell her, look, go call the police because this woman has stolen your property. What happened was this woman was baited and was sent to her death by this woman, who I believe, again, participated in a plan for first-degree murder as related to her neighbor. But in both cases, we see a clear double standard of justice, where the white female is given a pass and the black man, who is actually justified under the law as related to dealing with criminals, he's sent and put through this ordeal of a trial. And again, this shows the racial double standard as related to Travis Rudolph and this white female. I don't remember her name, but the whole thing is that
the white woman who shot her was Susan Lorincz.
Yeah, Susan Lorincz. There's a double standard of justice, and we really need to look at this and call it out. There's a double standard as related to justice, because again, Travis Rudolph was well within his rights. He was meeting the standard of the stand your ground law, and he was protecting his home. So I look at Travis Rudolph, and again, I see justice being done, because an innocent man was the person who really needs to be prosecuted is that woman and her friends. They are the ones who need to be prosecuted, because this woman orchestrated a conspiracy. She orchestrated and set up this man for murder. And if things had gone sour, she would have been, again, arrested for conspiracy to commit murder. And that's what I believe she should have been charged with. And again, the sad travesty of this case is this woman is going to be out here to go out here and instigate another incident. And sadly, 2 more males won't know that what they're getting into. But when I look at this case again, we see the double standards of justice in black and white.
Let me play this video. I got some more video that I'm going to play, but this is a neighbor who claimed to have heard racial slurs being said at the children by Susan Lorincz allegedly. And that the woman you see back here with the bow tie around her neck, the large bow tie, that is the mother of AJ Owens. Beautiful woman. Certainly had this girl when she was young. Damn. I mean, she doesn't look a day over 50. Am I right?
Yeah.
Good looking. And of course, guys, it's in Florida, so guess it's high profile. Guess who's representing the family?
It's Ben Crump, one more again.
We get justice. I'm not gonna go at Ben. Ben Crump was nice to me, but It's like, I guess everybody's wondering, are there no other black attorneys that can take these cases?
We live in an apartment complex. Nobody owns anything.
I'm not going
We're
to
all
play it
leased,
though.
and even the field is big, so it's really big. Even when they play out there, they don't play on the side where her apartment is. They play on the other side to avoid all this confusion, but she comes out anyways. Anytime the kids are out there, she's coming outside. She antagonizes kids. She calls them names, slaves, racial slurs, all kinds of stuff, all of the children.
Did she say something to your children?
Yes, she says stuff to everybody's children. She's told my daughter that she was going to be raped if she didn't get off of her property.
Justice for AJ! Justice for AJ! And we hope that the state attorney will consider these witness statements from those neighbors who lived in that apartment complex, who had to deal with this woman who antagonized their children on a systematic basis, on a routine basis, for children playing. And I love what Pamela said in a previous interview. It was her bullying children.
Right.
I mean, she would bully these children. And the fact that she threw skates at children, so the state attorney has to look into, was there any racial components when she shot through the door and killed AJ? I think there was one time the children said not one time, I guess a few times, she told them, this ain't the Underground Railroad.
There goes Clump. I want to point out something. This is the 911 call, the alleged 911 call. Susan Lorincz called 911 after she shot this mother. Now I'm going to play that for you. She also appeared in court. The judge didn't rule on bond. We're going to play some of that too. So let's get into it.
Just for the emergency. Oh my God, this lady just tried to break down my door. I shot through the door. Oh my God. Okay, repeat that address for me to make sure I have it correct. Okay, what is your name? Okay, take a deep breath for me. Calm down. Oh my God. You said someone tried to break down your door, is that correct? Yes, the woman was screaming and yelling and she was trying to break down my door. Okay, it was a female? Yes. I don't know what to do. I grabbed my gun and I shot at the door. She was going to kill me. Oh my God. Okay, you said you shot at the door, is that correct? Yes, I shot at the door because she wouldn't stop. I told her to get away and she wouldn't. She just begging. She's begging. Okay, where's your gun now? It's in my bedroom. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. This is the woman who attacked me. Okay, do you still see the subject? I don't know where she is. I'm still in my house. I didn't open my door to her. Is it just only you in the home? Yes, it's just me. Okay, I just need you to lock all your doors and windows, okay? I have. Okay, I'm going to stay on the line until the deputies get there. Okay. My son said they were going to come and kill me. And did you know her? Yes, She's come after me several times because of her children. Her children keep trespassing over here. They're bothering me and bothering me. They won't stop. Is she a neighbor? Yes.
Fine ass bitch. I look, I'm a proponent of innocent till proven guilty, but I'm gonna speak as a human. That's a lying ass bitch. She tried to break down your door with her children, with her child standing right next to her. After you threw a skate, these are children. I think 4 kids. The youngest, I believe, is 3. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but she threw a skate allegedly at the child. The cops say it happened. Let's look at this. Let's deal with this, Sean. The fact that she threw the skate at the kid, she allegedly, and these are all alleged, she took the iPad from one of the children, and when the children confronted her on her porch, she swung an umbrella at them, according to the police report, right? So all 3 of those, ladies and gentlemen, are crimes. So when this sheriff got on there saying he couldn't institute an arrest on Carolyn, that's a damn lie. You have a battery for throwing a roller skate at the kid. You have an assault. At best, it's a battery. At work for her, it would have been cruelty to a juvenile. It's assault, obviously, when she swung the umbrella allegedly, and it's a theft by her stealing the iPad. These are crimes. They could have arrested her. Even if it were a misdemeanor, they still could have arrested her or issued some type of summons. They could have detained her. Am I right? So
Yeah.
Next thing I want to point out, she actually made an appearance in court, in bond court. In court. The judge asked if she could afford bail and so forth, but they passed on that. So now she appeared in court, and I'll just play this. This is a short clip.
It's the first court appearance for the woman accused of fatally shooting a mother of 4 during a neighbor dispute.
What is your name? Susan Lorenz.
58-year-old Susan Lorenz was placed in a green suicide vest after a mental health evaluation. Listen to what the judge asked her during her first court appearance.
Do you have a job?
Not right now, no.
Okay, when's the last time you worked?
About 2 weeks ago.
After a public outcry over stand your ground laws, Lorenz was charged with manslaughter for shooting 35-year-old Ajike Owens when she came to her front door after a dispute involving Owens' children. She says she has no money to support herself.
Do you have any savings?
No.
How do you support yourself, ma'am?
Well, I was working and I filed for disability.
Okay. And it says that you own a vehicle?
Yes.
Do you have any equity in that vehicle?
I owe $22,000 on it.
Do you own your home?
No.
Do you support anyone besides yourself?
I help my sister out.
So what that means, guys, either she's going to have a public defender representing her, or look out because there may be a GoFundMe page. What's the fundraiser for conservatives that they have? There's a special one that was founded for conservatives. They had one for that Marine that strangled the brother out in New York.
I don't know which one that is.
There's a special name for it. I don't know what it is either, but be on the lookout. That's gonna happen. Don't be surprised if she come up with you're gonna see $100,000 already raised for her. $200,000 by Sunday, and she gonna have the lawyer that got Trayvon Martin on board, that got George Zimmerman off when he killed Trayvon Martin. That's what it's called, gives and go. But this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, at bond proceedings when someone is charged with a crime. They ask them questions like, what's their occupation? Do you own your own home? Do you have equity? Do you have means available that you could get out of jail? Because they try to make a determination whether or not that person can afford to get out on their own recognizance or they need a bondsman. Also, what ties they have to the community. That determines the amount of bail. It also leads in to the fact of whether or not, based off the nature of the crime, right?
Yeah.
Based off the nature of the crime, that also factors in. Whether this person's a flight risk. You hear all of that in the movies. So all of that is factored in. But Sean, what say you, obviously, from the messages that have been said on this is a sad story because 4 kids are without their mother. Do you think would you be surprised if she gets off?
I wouldn't be surprised because I know that there's always a fix-in, especially when it comes down to white women. Even though the evidence here is insurmountable as related to the crime this woman has committed, in our gynocentric American society, there's always a plan to give white women a pass for their crimes, just like they did with Carolyn Donham. And this woman basically is looking like she's trying to set herself up to try to get a pass, trying to find a way to, and they've been trying to give her a pass because they took 4 days to investigate this case. Meanwhile, when we look at the case of the football player, they immediately went out here and arrested him. But this woman got a pass, and that's why I say the fix is in right now as related to this case. And it possibly, I'm not really expecting any justice, but with the evidence, again, it's insurmountable. The whole thing is this woman will possibly find a way to get a pass from somebody out here.
I think it's possible, but I think it's going to be hard. You see, we are the ones that it was public pressure that resulted in her getting arrested. Now, I have a problem with her being arrested on a manslaughter charge. I don't see why this is not murder.
I believe it's murder myself because
she shot through the door. She was not, I mean, look, and I don't know all the facts. That's true. But if the door was locked, as long as somebody is not breaking, when we say breaking in, if you saw the video that went viral, there was a man who took an axe to a person's door and broke in trying to get at them. They took a blunt object and hammered at that door. That's breaking in. That's when you can stand your ground. You can use deadly force. Not someone confronting you for an assault. Not someone knocking on your door. Somebody knocks off your door to give you a package. What? Oh, shit, I think he's got a bomb. Shoot him. No, you can't do that. But I'm sorry, Sean, you saying you thought it was murder too.
I believe it's murder because when she stole the iPad, this was what she did to bait the mother to come into her door. I believe when she assaulted the children and stole the iPad, this was a motive for murder. I believe that this was where we see malice aforethought. This is where we see intent to kill. This is where we see a motive, again, for murder, because this woman basically wanted to get power by going out here and taking the life of this Black woman. So when I look at this case, I don't see manslaughter. I see murder, one, because I look at the case of Chow out in South Carolina, and Chow basically was doing the same thing, baiting that 14-year-old boy. And when I look at the behaviors and the actions, it mirrors that of the Asian man at that gas station. Her behavior has the same intent as related to murder. So that's why I believe there needs to be a murder charge and not a manslaughter one.
Yeah. Well, before we do that, hit that like, share. Hit that. I'm sorry, y'all. Video came on. Hit that video button. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this channel is not monetized, but if you could, would you donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle to support a brother in his hard works? Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit it now. Make sure you're hitting that notification bell so when we go live, you'll know. YouTube does have us on a shadow ban, but I've noticed, Sean, my last live stream, I've actually gotten almost 500 views from that rather than the 30 and 40 that I've seen, which shows me YouTube has been strangling us.
Yeah.
But that video is starting to make waves, and I've gotten a lot of comments, so it's actually a good thing. before we move on, I want to show you this. And also, we talk about the Susan Lorenz and how she was treated by the police and the media. But listen to how I want to play this for you all. I want y'all to pay very close attention because we're going back and forth to Travis Rudolph. But I want y'all to watch this. This is a Law and Crime Trial Network. They interviewed Daryl Rudolph, who was the brother of Travis Rudolph, for about 7 minutes. And I want y'all to listen very closely to what this reporter said regarding this.
He was relieved and said the jury made the right decision. Obviously, you agree. Tell us about what these last few years have been like for you.
Honestly, it's been very, very crazy. I mean, to be honest with you, just to keep it short and plain and simple, you know what, my brother, he did the right thing. The jurors, they did the right thing. So.
Now, you testified in this trial, Daryl. You were there that fatal night. What was your initial reaction when you heard the words "not guilty"?
Not guilty? Let me just say it like this. It's people that's in the system right now that's locked up, and they, I think I lost you on camera.
No, you're here.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So basically, it's people right now that don't have the money for lawyers. They might not have the right amount of family that got, the right type of money to get an actual lawyer. And there's people that's in jail right now, in prison right now, because they falsely accused and they completely innocent.
Yeah, and of course, there were no winners in this case, Daryl. Everyone was involved, was a victim here. And that being said, what do you have to say to the victim, Jean Jack's family?
Wait, y'all heard that?
This is what I have to say.
She said everyone involved here was a victim. You heard what this reporter just said. Her name is Michelle Yu. She said everyone was a victim. Everyone was not a victim. Travis Rudolph was the victim. He was the victim of a wretched wench. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I hope the man she was married, I hope they're divorced. I pray they don't even have children, because you know what? If she's a divorced mom with kids, guess what? They're going to learn this behavior from her. They're going to learn it from her. She hasn't learned her lesson. But she called everybody involved a victim. You heard this. They're not victims, Sean. They were perpetrators. Now, it got a little crazy with the brother because.
Yeah, and of course, there were no winners in this case, Daryl. Everyone was involved, was a victim here. And that being said, what do you have to say to the victim, Jean Jack's family?
This is what I have to say to them. If the roles was reversed, I would hope that Sebastian would have done the same thing for his family. And, ma'am, you can go ahead.
No, I want to thank you for that. Before I let you go, though, I want you to stay with me and listen to some of that interview that took place with your brother this morning, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even have an opinion on that. I don't know as far as the statistics or anything like that, but I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like it's just clear cut with my case. I mean, you clearly see what these guys came to, what their intentions was when they came to my house. You clearly see, basically a hit was set out for my well-being and my mother's and my brother's. I mean, it's just clear cut. I mean, that's why I feel like the decision was made how it was made yesterday on my behalf.
Yeah, I don't look at cases from a statistical standpoint. Everyone's an individual. If I looked at it, I would think that maybe we're not going to win. So I don't think race in this case had anything to do with anything at all. I hope we wouldn't. I do agree with you that generally people who are not white don't get a same fair trial on a self-defense type of case, and I've seen that myself. But in this case, that absolutely did not happen. We had a fair jury. We knew it going into it. We had.
So that's Travis Rudolph's lawyer, Mark Shiner. He said he didn't think it was about race. Of course, he would say that.
Probably one of the brightest and smartest group of people.
The jury was smart. I will give them that. They saw it right. But I want to skip through this. I'm not going to play all of it. I want y'all to hear the last bit because Travis Rudolph, I don't know what he was thinking, but he started to think this was Def Poetry Jam.
So, Daryl, you just heard your brother there and his attorney. They were talking about, obviously, what they thought was different about this case. Do you agree with them?
I agree with my brother as well as Marshawn 100%. But this is one thing I have to say before you let me go. I want to say this. What's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people went to prison because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. Now they serving time because they falsely accused. I said, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people went to prison because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. Now they serving time because they falsely accused. And you think Travis a murderer? That's because you don't know what happened. I'm his brother. Listen closer to the murders and rapping. Dominica's a liar. I'm going to show her she capping, and y'all going to see how she the reason of the death of Sebastian. I told my brother to come outside. I guess she thought he was leaving. Then she went inside his phone and she found out he was cheating. But the girl name was Colin, so she came up with a reason to hit his head with a bottle so she could try to get even. But let me tell you the story, how this problem got even bigger. Dominique lied. She lied and said that my brother hit her. Before she left the house, she broke his game and she took the liquor. Then she turned around and said her brothers ain't finna get you. We thought she was playing. Thought she was bluffing us. 1 hour later, we getting jumped by some. That girl hurt my feelings. So Dominique is my little sister. Then she put a hit out on my family and tried to kill us. And these prosecutors know about this information. It's messed up. Then my brother in this situation facing life sentence went to jail because of allegations, eating nasty food in his cell, probably losing patience.
I know there are a lot of emotions.
She sent them demons to our mama house to try to come get him. If my brother go to prison, something wrong with the system. They try to kill us at our home and trying to play like the victims. I said, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people went to prison because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. Now they serving time because they falsely accused. I said, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Travis Rudolph got arrested because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. He was serving time because he was falsely accused. I opened up the door, jumped off some strangers. I got a gun on in my head and they were yelling with anger. This is a song about a girl that put my family in danger. And this is a song about some faggots that was trying to be gangster. Keyshawn, man to man, tell me, how do you feel?
Daryl, we gotta go soon. Unfortunately, I know.
Before other people, y'all owe my mom an apology. Y'all jumped the 2 sons, came with guns on our property.
All right, Daryl, I know it's been very emotional, and we thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you and your family are relieved.
So what he's trying to get, this nigga trying to get a deal with Bad Boy. Excuse me. This turned into Def Poetry Jam. They brought back 106 in Park, the freestyle battle. What? What's wrong with the nation? They tried to get my brother under the station. Like, nigga, what? Stop.
Not the time or the place.
Huh?
I said it's not the time or the place for that.
He wants a record deal out of this. Shall we move on? I got nothing more. That spoke for itself. This is where we go wrong when people stop supporting these families. People won't go off and use this instead of it being serious. You want to use it to play. It's like you're out during the George Floyd protest and everybody's doing the electric slide instead of trying to get justice.
That was embarrassing to watch.
I'm sorry, not Bad Boys. He's trying to get to he's trying to get to Def Jam, which is defunct. Yeah, that was embarrassing. I couldn't believe he did that shit. All right. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you got it. You've already spoken about it, Sean, if you want to say more about freestyle mic. But
All I'll say is there's a time and a place for things, and this was not the appropriate time for this guy to go for an audition on American Idol. Your brother is going
not
through
American.
something bad, and you should be thinking about keeping it serious, because the whole thing is about getting the tangible of justice, not trying to turn this into Showtime at the Apollo.
I would have said America's Got Talent more than because he would never gotten the chance to go on American Idol. You got to sing pop, not rap.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. This story is an interesting one, Sean. Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson, shout out to him, was covering this, and this came to my attention. This happened to a young brother. I believe his name is Cladavius, and I'm getting this wrong, McGee Jr. I probably screwed his first name up. Sometimes I do that, I admit, but I'm not talk ball. I'm not just gonna screw up your name and pretend like I said it right. Knucklehead. But sadly, he was shot and killed by a former police officer after he was caught with the man's daughter, who I believe was his girlfriend. This is courtesy of Fox 13 in Memphis. So Clarksdale, Mississippi is not that far. That's like northwest Mississippi. So it's not that far from Memphis, as you can see. But we're
shot and killed in Clarksdale, Mississippi. The mother says the victim was her 15-year-old son. And Fox 13 Sheila O'Connor joining us now live from downtown. The mother says it was a former Clarksdale police officer that killed her son, Sheila.
Yeah, that's right, Ernie. All of the new details that we have for you this morning, this is all according to the mother. Now, the mother says the victim is her son, 15-year-old Cornelius McGee Jr. We do have a picture of him. Let's go ahead and bring that up so you can see what this young man looked like. This all happened yesterday in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Now, the mother telling us that her son was in a relationship with the former Clarksdale police officer's daughter, and that apparently that former police officer had warned her son of what he would do if he had ever found him in his house again. So it seems like he may have been in their house one time before, prompting that former officer to give that teen some kind of warning. The mother says that the officer's daughter is actually the one who snuck her son into their home, and the former police officer found the two teens in the daughter's bedroom. Shortly after that, they both started running from the house. Next door was a neighbor who is actually a friend of the mother's son. He was trying to get to that neighbor's house, trying to climb a fence, and that's when the mother says the former officer shot her son in the back.
He ain't got nothing. Why would you shoot him in his back with his back turned?
Now, again, there are still a lot of questions surrounding this case. We do not know just yet if that former Clarksdale police officer is going to be charged with anything. We don't even know his identity just yet. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, they are taking over this case. They are not calling this an officer-involved shooting. Now, the mother says that that former officer was with Clarksdale police just 3 weeks ago. Clarksdale police, though, would not confirm that, again, only calling him a former police officer. Ernie?
Yeah, so a lot of questions to be answered still on this from Sheila O'Connor.
A lot of questions to be answered on this one, of Brother McGee.
There's so many questions surrounding the death of 15-year-old Cornelius McGee Jr.
Yeah.
McGee died after being shot Monday afternoon at a house on West 2nd Street in Clarksdale, Mississippi. We're told the man who fired the shot is a former Clarksdale police officer. As WRAG's Mike Suriani reports, the MBI is in charge, and so far, no one has been arrested.
He was a good kid. He was real respectful, a people person. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him.
Jacqueline Rash shares good memories now of her 15-year-old son, Cornelius McGee Jr. He died Monday after being shot in the backyard of this house on West 2nd Street in Clarksdale, just a few blocks from his home.
I heard shots, went to Walmart, came back, and just rode around that way. Saw 3 ambulances out there, police is everywhere, tape everywhere.
Police telling WREG they received a call Monday afternoon of a burglary at this house, where we're told former Clarksdale police officer Andrew Bankhead lives. Officers found McGee with a gunshot wound lying in the next yard over. He died later at the hospital. Rash says her son committed no crime and believes he was shot because he was dating Bankhead's daughter, and Bankhead caught him at the house Monday.
And the daughter, they say he was there with the daughter.
She let him in the house.
She let him in the house.
Asked Bankhead what happened and believes he was shot because he was dating Bankhead's daughter, and Bankhead caught him at the house Monday.
And the daughter, they say he was there with the daughter.
She let him in the house.
She let him in the house. So they saying it was a break-in, but it wasn't a break-in. The daughter let him in the house.
Rash believes her son was running from the house when he was allegedly shot in his back. What reportedly happened here came as a huge shock to Julius Voss, Andrew Bankhead's first cousin.
We was here Saturday barbecuing, and I talked to him Sunday.
Voss says the weekend event was a celebration.
He was a police officer for Clarksdale Police, and he has another job.
Monday afternoon, Voss asked Bankhead what happened.
He had been involved in a shooting that someone had broke in his house, and he defended himself.
No one has been charged, and no one answered the door at this house Tuesday. In Clarksdale, Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
Still many questions tonight, and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is handling the case at the request of the Clarksdale Police Department. It has provided no further information.
All right. That's a sad story, but there's a morals to this too. I want to share. It's similar to an event that happened out here in Louisiana about, I want to say 3 years ago. This was during, I think, the pandemic. There was a brother. Now, it's similar. I'm not saying it's the same thing. It was a young girl, a black man, whose daughter, brother from Zachary, who was a businessman. This happened in 2021. And his daughter, brother's name was Desmond Hamilton. He was 34 years old. His daughter, who was 14, was dating a 17-year-old boy. And he had told the boy and his daughter under no circumstances was he allowed in the house. And apparently she came through the window using a ladder. He came through using a ladder. And when they took him downstairs, when the father caught him climbing through the window, as he was told by a neighbor, he confronted the boy and talked to him downstairs. And other relatives came to the house, including the girl's mother. And somehow or another, an argument ensued, and both Hamilton and the teen shot each other. Now, Hamilton was killed later on his way to the hospital from multiple gunshot injuries, and the teenager was hospitalized as a result. But the bottom line is, sadly, is that the young man who was a businessman, who was actually very loved in that community, is no longer there. And we always had a saying about who you should let, parents, even to this day, I could not let even my girlfriend into my parents' house. She could not spend the night in the same bedroom. That was a no-no. Even though today's day and age, people do what they want, I try to do that even at 37 years old. My parents found out, they would be highly pissed with me. because it's not my house, it's their house. And if you don't like it, get out. That's the old saying.
Yeah.
You follow my rules. Let him provide for you. If you don't want that, there's the streets, there's the door. Get out my house. Now, having said all of that, that situation, I believe, and I don't know all of the facts and circumstances, it appears to be completely different from what happened here, because the young brother, the teenager that was shot, Cornelius McGee, he apparently was fleeing the residence at the time of the shooting. And I don't know if he was exactly what direction the bullets were coming from, but from all intents and purposes, they're saying he was shot from the back, in the back, I believe. I don't know if he had a weapon. I don't know any of that. They're still investigating it. Yes, I believe every person is innocent until proven guilty. I've always stand by that. However, I see this completely different, contrasting that to what happened to Desmond Hamilton at his home in Zachary. Because that young lady, for the rest of her life, that 14-year-old girl who's now 17, she's going to have to live with the fact that she played a role in her father's death. Even though she didn't think it. That's going to haunt her for the rest of her life, and she still has a life to live at 17 years old. The teenager's name, see, Daily Mail will always get it when it comes to black people. They identify the teenager as Nicholas McWhirter. That was the girl's boyfriend. And Des Hamilton, who I think was a father of 4. He had 3 daughters and 1 son. All of them are going to lose, not have the opportunity of seeing their father again, having their father walking down the aisle or attend their graduation. And this young brother, this young brother will never be able to experience, we had graduation, he'll never be able to experience some of those things, right? So it is a tragic situation, but there's a morals to this. But I also think that I don't care if this officer was black or white. If he shot this kid and this kid was unarmed, we've all done stupid things when we were teenagers. He shouldn't have been, if he was unarmed, if he wasn't breaking in, he should not have been killed. Sean, I'll look to your thoughts.
Well, this is a sad story of a young man whose life ended way too soon. And sadly, he was one of these young guys who was basically in the simp phase. He was basically thirsty over a girl. And sadly, his quest to get his thirst quenched sadly wound up leading to him losing his life. Now, it seems like this young man didn't understand that when a father tells you not to deal with his daughter, you just need to heed that message because your life is in jeopardy. And sadly, he didn't get that message as related to this situation. And it's a tragic story as related to things. Now, as related to the father, I have to say he's a bit of an zealous, possessive psycho simp because he's sitting here going crazy over his daughter, not understanding that the more crazier you go over your daughter, over boys, the more you make it where she becomes more interested in pursuing boys because she sees herself getting attention from this situation. So the father basically escalated the situation, as I know he was trying to protect his daughter from a guy basically being involved with his daughter, but sometimes you got to take your hands off and trust your daughter. But sadly, this father went overboard as related to things, escalated a situation into violence, and him taking the gun out, again, as I see it, was really excessive. And he definitely should have been charged with manslaughter. It probably won't happen, but he should have been charged with something because there was no need to go out here and take a gun out as related to the situation. No, what you do is you talk to your daughter, but many beta male fathers, they don't want to talk to their daughter because they fear conflict and they don't really know how to resolve conflict. And when I look at this whole situation again, I see you have two guys who are beta males. You have the boy, well, again, he's in his simp phase. He doesn't really know how to respect boundaries. He's just caught up in the attention of the first girl he's ever been with. And then you've got this beta male father who doesn't know how to conflict resolve or problem solve. And he escalated this situation where it led to the death of this boy. And again, I look at this whole situation, and maybe things would have been better if both sides had really done some thinking. And again, the boy, I can understand him not being able to think, because again, this is him 15 years old. It's probably his first girlfriend, and he wants to be with this girl. And the girl, possibly this is the first guy she wants to be with. And again, I just really am deeply sad about this whole situation, because again, the daughter will possibly be traumatized as related to men, never trust her father again. And the father basically has shown that he has no discipline or no self-control. And sadly, a young man lost his life as a result of this whole situation.
Yes, and it's sad, it's unfortunate that it happened. The brother didn't deserve that. But when we talk about girls and so forth, I mean, boys used to sneak into girls' homes when their parents weren't around. You would think it would be easier. The girl would have been tracking her daddy with the iPhone or something like that. But even so, I certainly, she should have listened to her father. Now, as teenagers, they're not going to think like that. They don't have the wisdom yet. And this kid was thinking, they're thinking with their hormones. We were teenagers, that's how it was. But yeah, well, you're right. And I find it interesting. You said simp phase. Is it a simp? Should he be held responsible, though, Sean, as a teenager for being a simp?
You hold the child accountable for being a simp, but at that point you have to do some teaching. Again, when you're dealing with a boy in a simp phase, he's in a time where he's trying to learn about girls. He doesn't understand the rules and the boundaries of things. So you need another man there to sit down and teach a young man that, okay, yeah, you got feelings for this girl, but you got to respect other people's boundaries. You got to respect the authority of this father. And while you have feelings for this girl, you got to learn how to navigate those feelings. And yeah, you want to see her and you want to spend time with her, but you got to respect the rules of that man's house. That is what a man sits down and teaches a son. He sits down and tells his son, okay, you want to see her, but you got to respect this man's home. You got to respect this man's daughter. You got to respect this man's boundaries. If he says he doesn't want you to see her, you need to respect that. While you may have the feelings, you got to work through the feelings. And if he says no, then you just leave her alone, because there's more important things for you to lose, like your freedom, your health, and in this case, your life, because this boy, he needed guidance. And again, boys in the simp phase, yes, they are really out of control in certain cases, but they need guidance and counseling. And that's where another man comes in and helps that young boy learn how to function as related to relationships and how to be a part of a healthy relationship.
Yeah. So I'm just learning. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. But rest in peace to the brother. He's still young. I mean, look, I had to learn out the hard way, especially how to deal with girls. It took me a long time, but yeah, if you're in a situation where you're feeling disrespected, or you're in a situation where it becomes violent, if it becomes to the point where somebody is threatening you, don't be a part of it. She's not worth it. In other words, what you teaching, Sean, is let the girl work for you, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. If she's into you, let her come to you.
Know. Right.
You don't have to go to her.
So I'm just seeing this because I'm on Twitter as I'm back and forth. I got different windows up. Showtime had a Louis C. documentary about the allegations against him. They dropped it. This is the same Showtime that showed We Believe Bill Cosby. Now, I'm going to talk about that. I know I owe people I'm supposed to do a documentary on that shit piece, I should call it. But I also saw John Amos is in the hospital for heart troubles. It's looking like they're draining his fluid, and his daughter has set up a GoFundMe stating that he's been the victim of elder abuse and he's been hospitalized. But apparently, according to this, he denies the claims. He says that's not true. She set up a GoFundMe. She launched a GoFundMe with $500,000, and they're working closely with the Colorado Bureau of Investigations and the local sheriff's department. But according to the report, Amos has stated he refutes Shannon's abuse allegations. He reportedly, and this is according to TMC, expressed that he has no idea why she has started the GoFundMe. I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to just play this video right quick from his daughter, and I'm going to go to, excuse me 1 second. Let's play this. I got to go to the restroom. Excuse me, family. Sorry about that. They say the Good Times actor is fighting for his life after falling victim to elder abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. I don't know anything about this per se. I'm hoping for the best for Mr. Amos. You know?
Yeah.
Although I'll say this, I gotta look at this, but I see my brother Harvey Superboy has a video that's up. He's going in on John Amos and called John Amos money and health issues because John Amos, if you remember, actually spoke out against Bill Cosby, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is among our people. I got to say this. I don't know what it is, why we keep taking shots at each other. Why would anybody, if it weren't for Bill Cosby, yeah, John Amos was the first black father on TV, but Bill Cosby made it possible for John Amos, for Jimmy Walker, for Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, Cat Williams, any young black comedian you can think of, even to some degree Richard Pryor, because Richard Pryor idolized Bill Cosby. He said that publicly. He started his comedy career imitating Cosby to the point Don Rickles even told Richard Pryor, hey, you sound too much like Bill Cosby. But we always got to take shots at each other at our worst moment. And he's worked with Bill Cosby on Let's Do It Again and on The Cosby Show. So I got to watch the video because, you know, Harvey, you know, I know how to impersonate him. You know, I always used to watch Good Times because that's what's in my city of Chicago. And, you know, I thought that's how black people could be until I saw Cosby Show. And, you know, John Amos, you know, he's wrong to come at him. Sound like him? Yeah. Well, look, we're gonna wrap this one up, but I'm gonna have to listen to that. And Sean, you probably might want to do a video on why that Louis C.K. being dropped from Showtime.
It may be coming next week. I mean, my whole schedule is full for this week, and I've got a video request, so I may do it next week. So,
yeah. You say the boy and Zachary, that was a cousins? Ugh, 2 cousins messing around with each other? It is the South, but damn. He was trying to prevent, that daddy was trying to prevent 3-eyed babies from coming in. Speaking of babies, congratulations to Zion Williams, who wifed up a gold digger. Zion has now seen more baby mamas than he has regular season games. Hell, he's won over more baby mamas than he has playoff games. Shit. God, they know it's his baby, Sean, because they did a test. They said the baby's doing 9 months, but it might be 6 to 8 weeks questionable due to injury. So just that baby gonna come first where it's gonna be ouch. First where it's gonna be doubtful. That's a good one, huh?
yeah.
Big. Yeah, Zion Williams got too fat, man. Why is it he's another street clothes for us in New Orleans? Yeah. I want to ask you a question earlier. What were the Gen X's? I think we would have made a lot of gain. I mean, if we're talking about new black media, it depends. If you're talking about new black media, millennials, Gen Zers and stuff, we probably would have made a lot of gain, although there would have been a lot of us still that are asleep. This generation now that I see of the youth, I don't see a lot of hope with it because all of these kids, especially the young ones I'm talking about, they have a mind made up of the world of their own, except it is not the reality. It is not reality to them. They're fascinated with fantasy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's dependent on technology and AI, not manual labor, not hard work. They expect things to be handed to them.
And it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to put in some work.
And I saw that when I was a teacher at Southern. Even though we were on in the pandemic and we had video, I taught classes from Zoom. Kids had to learn. Things aren't handed to you. And Zion swimmers hit a golden nugget. He's dunked on more baby mamas than he has a goal. Basketball goal. The baby gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks before its due date. That's funny. I just got a laugh out of you.
No, that joke was one that resonated with me.
Oh. It's one more baby mamas than he has for regular season games. I'm gonna use that for the Comedy Fest. What I heard, she did cam porn, but Zion allegedly was messing with another porn star who I'm hearing she's actually pregnant. The 2019 NBA class, Ja Morant, Zion Williams, and the brother who knocked up Brittany Renner. They all get F's. The Guns and Buns crew. That's what they ought to call them. Guns and Buns. And I just heard Shaq. Oh, Shaq it was messing with Brittany Renner now. Shaq had a dinner date with her in Beverly Hills. Shaq ain't learned his lesson.
Nope.
From I just want to get you. I just want to knock you up. I just want to. Look at that's them there. Look, hold on. Let me play it. I'm gonna show you a couple of my three I'm gonna fuck you down trial. Can you dig it? PJ Washington. Yeah. I just want to fuck you down trial. Right in the butt. Can you dig it? Yeah, man. What is up with it? Look, I ain't even got money like that. If I could read, that is not a woman I want to be. If when I become a millionaire, that's not a woman I want to rebound with. I want to be. She's poison. Now I could be friendly, but I doubt it. You know the game with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can afford it though. I got that job on TNG. You know, I don't give a shit. It's like me, 2000, me and the Lakers, me, Kobe. We got Robert Ory. We got everybody. We got it all going. Can you dig it? What in the hell is wrong with Shaq? Oh Lord. All right. We're gonna wrap this up, Sean. Thank you for being with us tonight. If you want to do a plug-in, you can.
All right, I'll do one more plug-in for John Haynes 1987, which is now available in paperback and Kindle format and at Google Play. And I really would like to see you guys pick up this story that takes place in the 1980s and experience everything about life in the 80s growing up in the South Bronx. So you can get your copy of John Haynes 1987 in paperback and digital format at Amazon.com and other online booksellers.
All right, and you can also check out the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. On Amazon Kindle. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, please. Donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle if you would like. Also, I have a comedy show coming up at the Comedy Chateau that I've posted on YouTube. I'll be out there in LA this Sunday through. I'll be coming back later in the week. We're gonna have a good time in LA, man. So it's gonna be great. But support Sean. Sean, I look forward to hearing your live stream.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on, and I will be back next week, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll be back. I should be back in time for the show unless I'm feeling sick from my flight. But have you flown before, Sean?
I flew to Washington once, and that was about it.
Oh, you got to get back on a plane. You didn't like it?
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Safer than riding a car. Although the car is 50,000, never been 30,000 feet in the air. All right.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Another Random Topic Thursdays, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week. I'll holla. I probably won't have a show Tuesday or Sunday, just being out in LA. I got stuff I'm going to be doing. But we might do a rebroadcast, okay? So y'all take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, family. If we got to do this one more time. Oh, great. Marvelous. I just refreshed it. All right, I'm having trouble playing the music, guys. We'll just wrap this one up. Good night. Be one, be safe, be blessed. I'll holla. Peace.